Mike, we talked about your impressions of the course, but this is a course that was supposed to play fast and furious, and all that rain, and then they're talking the ball's just going to land there. It's going to take away everything. Well, then it dried out, and then it rained again. So how did this course play?
It was amazing to me. A lot of it's one of the thing number a zillion that amazed me about this week. We were there on Thursday after they had been absolutely deluged, and a buddy of mine went down, and I went down and watched on the 11th hole, which is the absolute lowest point on the golf course with a confluence of two creeks. It's a beautiful little spot. And we're watching these guys play shots. I cannot believe how fast these greens are after all this rain. I think that surprised even the USGA, because I talked to Mike Davis and interviewed him here in Lancaster about a month ago, and there were so many things that he was saying, well, if we get cooperation from the weather, blah, blah, blah. So I think that surprised even the USGA. And then they had some wind, which they did not expect. That's another thing I know that Davis did not expect. He's thinking June in the Northeast, thunderstorms, humidity, not wind. Right. They had some wind, so I think everybody was a little bit surprised. But it turned out Merion held up tremendously well. Some of the golf course setup, some of the pin positions, some of the tee positions were almost on that edge of being a little ridiculous. And it reminded you, once again, for people who don't realize this, you can set up any golf course in the world so nobody can break par on it. Any golf course in the world, Village Green or whatever, and you could set up the hardest golf course in the world so any world-class player can shoot 64 on it. Wow. So much of this is the setup, but the short answer is yes, Merion held up terrifically well.
It didn't hold up very well for certain golfers. There's some big
That's
names.
for sure.
There were some big hitters that it didn't do well, and it's a shorter course, and some of the ways they have the rough, since the greens are set up, Phil Mickelson is some guy's a big hitter, but he seemed like he was able to adjust to the finesse game that you needed to win this thing. Tiger Woods, 13 over. McIlroy, 14 over. Jim Furyk was 14 over on one day.
Yes.
The struggles of these guys, what was it about this course that didn't play well to their games?
Well, I think it was different. You gave me four different cases there. Mickelson did not carry a driver. He had he carried a 3-wood, and actually his length helped him because he was able to do that, and he did contend, and he carried an extra wedge in his bag too, which is it's a course where there's a lot of wedges. Tiger. I think in Tiger's case, the whole thing of playing in majors, whereas when he was in his 30s, he was kind of freewheeling it, and he's way ahead of Jack Nicklaus's pace, and he's just going to bury the record book. It's so different now. He's a different person now. That record looks like a gigantic hurdle. I think it's a mental and emotional thing with Tiger. With Rory right now, Rory McIlroy, it's a physical thing. He's a very young kid with a lot of talent, but his swing is very fast. There's a lot of moving parts. It's very athletic. Right now, he's playing Army golf, left, right, left, right, left. Jim Furyk, I think, is getting to that point of the career where he's closer to the end than the beginning, and he's just not a very good golfer right now. I think the cumulative effect of coming close and missing, especially at last year's U.S. Open, is an issue, which he really should have won. He really threw that away. And it'll be interesting to see what happens to Jim Furyk going forward. But right now, Jim Furyk is just not a very good golfer.
Two things. One, it's been 5 years since Tiger won a major. He's won the other ones, but he hasn't won. You say he's back. Well, he's not back yet. Furyk, did you get to talk to him at all? How was he to deal with, especially after Friday, which really came apart for him?
Yeah, and we thought, and the pins were vicious on Friday, and some of the players did kind of rip the golf course, and we half expected him to do that. We went to the flash area to talk to Furyk, and he was very gracious. He did say the USGA is really trying to protect par here with the way they have this thing set up, but he didn't complain about that. He was disappointed, but he said, hey, when I've come close in the past and failed, it was like last year, it was like getting punched in the stomach. This is not as disappointing as that is, but, obviously I'm disappointed. But he was very gracious. He was good. Furyk was good.